Ta stood at his station, eyes fixed on the blinking light of the communications array. His fingers moved quickly across the control panel as he tried to keep the signal strong. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. "Any change?" Captain Day asked, walking up behind him. "No, sir. Earth's signal is getting weaker by the minute," Ta said. He pushed his dark hair away from his eyes, not wanting to miss even a flicker of data from home. The Pathfinder, humanity's newest deep space vessel, carried 2,000 colonists toward Proxima Centauri. This would be humanity's farthest colony yet, safely beyond the reach of the Galactic Council. The ship was humanity's hope, a backup plan. "They're cutting us off, just like they threatened," Ta said, his voice low. The Galactic Council, 7 advanced alien civilizations, had given Earth an ultimatum 3 months ago. Give up all military capabilities and join as a protected species, or face isolation. Earth had refused. "Sir, we're receiving something new," Ta said suddenly. "It's the emergency channel." Captain Dai leaned closer. "Put it through." The screen flickered, showing the tired face of Earth's Space Command Director. Static cut through his words. "This is final transmission, all vessels. The Council has blockade around Earth. They've placed devices in orbit that will all outgoing communications. We have hours at most." Tay's hands tightened into fists. His family was on Earth, his parents, his younger sister. Would he ever hear from them again? The transmission continued through bursts of static. "All ships must continue their missions. Do not repeat. Do not return to Earth. That is, they want. Humanity must, beyond their reach. We keep forward." The image cut out suddenly, leaving only static. But Ta noticed something strange. Patterns in the noise. Not random interference, but a coded message hidden inside what looked like transmission failure. "Captain, I think there's more to this message," Ta said. "Save everything," Captain Dad ordered. "Every bit of data, even the static." The ship's alarm suddenly blared. Jin, the science officer, rushed into the communications room. "Captain, Council ships have appeared on long-range scanners," she reported, her face tense. 3 vessels, moving fast. Captain Dai straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. His next words would set their path. "Send word to all sections. We're going dark. Minimum power, emergency systems only." "Sir," Jin questioned. "The colonists will panic." "Better scared than captured," Captain Dai said firmly. "The Pathfinder won't be turned around. Earth sent us out here for a reason." He turned to Ta. "Work on that hidden message. Whatever Earth wanted to tell us, it must be important." Ta nodded and downloaded the transmission data to a secure tablet. As the ship's lights dimmed to emergency levels, he stared at the last images of Earth, his home, now cut off from the stars. 3 hours later, Tai sat alone in his quarters, running the static through various decryption programs. A soft knock at his door broke his concentration. "Any luck?" Jin asked, entering with 2 cups of synthetic coffee. "Maybe," Ta said, accepting the cup gratefully. "Look at this pattern. It repeats every 12 seconds. Coordinates," Jin suggested, studying the screen. "That's what I thought. But they point to empty space. And there's something else." He pointed to another pattern. "These symbols at the end. They spell out, 'Remember Jeju.'" "Jeju?" Jin asked. "An island on Earth. My family comes from there," Tai explained. "It has a long history, survived occupation, war, natural disasters. It later became humanity's first spaceport." Jin considered this. "A message just for you." "No," Ta shook his head. "It means something else. Jeju was never defeated. It endured through everything. I think Earth is telling us they have a plan." Outside Tay's small window, stars streaked by as the Pathfinder moved silently through space, its engines barely registering on any sensors. The ship carried humanity's future within it, pushing forward into the unknown. Behind them, Earth had gone dark. But in the silence, Ta found hope. If the pattern in the static meant what he thought, humanity wasn't surrendering. They were simply learning to walk without making a sound. 3 months passed since Earth's final message. The Pathfinder moved quietly through space, running on minimal power. The colonists had settled into their new routine, but fear hung in the air like a heavy fog. Tay sat in the ship's observation deck, staring at the stars. Each day, Earth grew more distant. He wondered if he would ever see his home again. Couldn't sleep either. Jin asked, sitting beside him. I keep thinking about the message, Ta said. Remember Jeju. We're missing something important. Their conversation was cut short by an urgent call over the ship's system. Senior staff to the bridge immediately. When they arrived, Security Chief Un was pointing at the main screen. There, she said, her finger tracing small blips of light. I first noticed them 2 days ago. They're matching our course, changes exactly. Captain Dai studied the screen. Council drones. Most likely, Yun nodded. At least 5 of them. They're staying just at the edge of our sensor range. So we're being watched, Captain Dai said quietly. They're tracking our movements. Engineer Sue entered the bridge late, her uniform wrinkled from working through the night. Captain, I found something while checking the outer hull. She held up a small silver disc no bigger than a coin. There are dozens of these attached to our ship, tracking devices. The room fell silent. Ta looked at the tiny device. It seemed so small to carry such danger. Can we remove them? Jin asked. We could, Sue said, but they would notice immediately. The council would know we found them. Captain Dai paced the bridge, thinking. Then a slow smile crossed his face. We don't remove them, he said. We use them. Use them? Yun asked, frowning. Feed them false data, the captain explained. Make them think we're continuing on our original course while we actually go somewhere else. But where would we go? Jin asked. We can't return to Earth. Tai suddenly stood up. The coordinates in the hidden message. They weren't pointing to empty space. They were pointing to where something would be. Captain Dai nodded. A rendezvous point. Later that night, Tai and Jin worked in the communications lab, trying to modify the tracking devices without turning them off. What did you mean about Jeju? Jin asked as she carefully opened one of the small discs. Jeju Island was occupied many times throughout history, Tai explained. The people there had to learn to hide their true intentions from those who control them. They would seem to obey while secretly planning their own path. You think Earth is doing the same with the Council? It makes sense, Ta said. Earth wouldn't just accept being cut off. They must have had a backup plan. Sue joined them, bringing tools to help with the trackers. My grandfather used to tell stories about the resistance fighters on Jeju. They would send false information to enemy forces, making them look in the wrong places. Just like we're going to do, Ta smiled. The next morning, Captain Day called all colonists to the main hall. The large room was packed with nervous faces. I won't lie to you, the captain said. We are being tracked by Council forces, but we have a plan. He explained how they would alter their course while making the trackers report they were still heading to Proxima Centauri b. Where will we really go? Someone asked from the crowd. To a set of coordinates hidden in Earth's last message, Captain Dot answered. We don't know what we'll find there, but Earth wanted us to go. And if it's a trap? Another voice called out. The captain stood tall. Then we face it together. But I believe it's something else, a continuation of our journey. As the meeting ended, Ta looked around at the faces of the colonists. Fear was still there, but now mixed with something else. Hope. In the vastness of space, the Pathfinder changed course, its true destination known only to those inside. Behind it, the Council drones followed the false signal, chasing an echo while the real ship slipped away into the void. 2 weeks later, the Pathfinder reached the mysterious coordinates. Through the main viewport, the The crew could see nothing but empty space, no planets, no stations, not even asteroids. "Are you sure this is right?" Captain Day asked, looking at the star map. "Yes, sir," Ta confirmed. "These are exactly the coordinates from Earth's message." The bridge crew stared at the emptiness before them. Some began to whisper that they had made a terrible mistake. "Maybe we misunderstood the message," Jin suggested quietly. Ta shook his head. "No, Earth wanted us here for a reason." Suddenly, Sue called out from the sensor station. "Captain, I'm picking up faint energy readings. Very faint, but they're there." "Where?" Captain Da moved to her side. "Everywhere," Sue said, her eyes wide. "All around us. Dozens of them. No, hundreds." Elon immediately raised the chute shields. "Could be mines," she warned. "No," Sue shook her head. "These readings, they're like ships, but in power-down mode. Almost completely dark." Captain Da turned to Ta. "Broadcast a standard Earth greeting on all channels. Low power, tight beam." Ta sent the message. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, one by one, lights began to appear in the darkness. Small at first, then growing brighter. The shapes of ships emerge. Earth ships, hundreds of them, powering up from complete darkness. "It's a fleet," Jin whispered. "A human fleet." The largest ship, bearing the markings of Earth Space Command, moved closer to the Pathfinder. The communication screen lit up, showing an older man in an admiral's uniform. "This is Admiral Wan of the ESS Resilience," he said. "Welcome, Pathfinder. We've been waiting for you." An hour later, Captain Da, Ta, Jin, Yun, and Sue sat in a meeting room aboard the Resilience. Admiral Wan explained what had happened. "Earth knew the Council would eventually try to contain us," he said. "For years we prepared for this day. While our leaders talked peace with the Council, we secretly launched every ship we could build." "How many?" Captain Day asked. "Over 500 vessels," the Admiral replied. "Colony ships, research vessels, military craft, all sent out with different missions, but the same ultimate goal: ensure humanity's survival beyond Council reach." "And Earth?" Tai asked, thinking of his family. "What's happening there?" Admiral Wan's face grew serious. "The Council has a full blockade in place. No ships in or out. But Earth isn't defeated. The silence was part of our plan." "The plan?" Jin asked. "Operation Silent Walk," the Admiral explained. "While the Council believes they've contained us, we've been establishing hidden outposts throughout the galaxy. This fleet is just one of several meeting points." Tai finally understood. "Remember Jeju. It wasn't just about resistance. It was about surviving by appearing to submit while actually growing stronger." "Exactly," Admiral Wan nodded. "Earth may be silent now, but humanity keeps walking forward. We didn't fight the Council directly. We simply stepped around them when they weren't looking." Sue looked troubled. "But the tracking devices on our ship, the Council drones following us, all part of the plan," the Admiral smiled. "We needed a ship they would follow. Your false course is leading those drones away from this gathering point." Captain Dai stood up. "You used us as bait." "We used you as a distraction," Admiral Wan corrected. "And it worked. Now you have a choice to make." "What choice?" Captain Day asked. "Join us," the Admiral said simply. "The Pathfinder and its colonists would be valuable additions to our fleet, or continue to your original destination. We won't stop you." As they returned to their ship to discuss the offer, Tai looked out at the vast fleet surrounding them. Ships that had been hiding in plain darkness, waiting silently for the right moment. Earth hadn't surrendered when peace fell silent. Humanity had simply learned to walk without making a sound, gathering its strength in the shadows where the Council couldn't see. Captain Dai decided to accept Admiral Wan's offer. The Pathfinder would join the hidden fleet. The colonists were nervous, but also excited to learn they weren't alone out here. The next day, Tai and Jin were invited to the Resilience to learn more about Earth's secret plans, A young officer named Hannah led them through the massive ship. "This way," Hannah said, guiding them into a large room with a holographic display of the galaxy. "This is the command center. Admiral Juan is waiting for you." The Admiral stood before the large map, small dots of light marking human ships and bases throughout the stars. "Welcome," he said. "It's time you learned about Ghost Protocol." The holographic map zoomed in on Earth, now surrounded by Council ships. "For 30 years, Admiral Juan explained, Earth knew first contact with alien life might not be friendly. While we publicly talked about peace, we secretly prepared for the worst." "You expected the Council to turn on us?" Jin asked. "We hoped for the best but planned for the worst," the Admiral corrected. "And we were right to do so. The Council never saw humans as equals." Tai studied the map. "These dots, they're all human ships." "Yes, over 500 vessels operating silently throughout Council space. Some are military, others are science ships or colonies, all following Ghost Protocol." "What exactly is Ghost Protocol?" Jin asked. "Our survival strategy," Admiral Juan explained. "First, appear weaker than we are. Second, spread out so we can't be wiped out in one strike. Third, develop technologies the Council doesn't know about." Meanwhile, on the Resilience's engineering deck, Sue was being shown something incredible by the ship's chief engineer, Du. "We call it the Shadow Drive," Du explained, pointing to a strange engine unlike anything Sue had seen before. "It bends light and other scanning waves around our ships, making them nearly invisible to Council sensors." Sue ran her hand along the smooth metal. "This is how you've stayed hidden for months." "Yes," Du nodded. "The Council thinks their technology is superior, but humans have always been good at finding creative solutions." Back in the command center, Admiral Juan was showing Ta and Jin the next phase of Ghost Protocol. "We've been mapping Council space," he said, "finding their weak points, their supply routes, their secret bases. If they ever attack us directly, we'll be ready." "And Earth?" Tai asked. "How long will it remain under blockade?" "Until we're strong enough to break it," the Admiral said firmly, "or until we find allies within the Council itself." On the Pathfinder, Security Chief Un was checking the ship's systems when she noticed something strange. Someone had accessed the restricted communications channel and sent a small data packet. She immediately called Captain Da. "Someone on our ship is sending messages, sir," she reported, "trying to contact the Council." "A spy?" Captain Da asked, his voice tense. "Most likely," Un nodded. "I'm running a trace now to find the source." "Find them quickly," the captain ordered. "If the Council learns about this fleet, everything Earth has worked for will be lost." As night cycle began on the ships, Ta sat alone in his quarters on the Resilience, looking at a small photo of his family on Jeju Island. The fleet would be moving soon to a new hiding place. Each ship would take a different path, staying silent, staying hidden. He thought about what Admiral Juan had said. "The Council thinks they've won by silencing Earth, but they don't understand humans. We don't need to make noise to keep moving forward." Outside, the stars seemed to watch silently as hundreds of human ships prepared to once again fade into the darkness. The Council had cut Earth's voice from the galaxy, but they hadn't stopped humanity's quiet march into the stars. The hunt for the spy had begun, and with it, a race against time. How long could Ghost Protocol remain a secret? Eon narrowed down the source of the unauthorized transmission to the living quarters section of the Pathfinder. Now, she and Tai stood outside the door of the suspected spy. "Are you sure about this?" Tai asked, looking at the name on the door. Ran, his childhood friend from Jeju. They had grown up together, joined the space program together. "The evidence is clear," Yun said firmly. "The transmission came from this room." She held her hand weapon ready. On 3. They burst into the room. Rand sat calmly at his desk, as if he had been expecting them. "It took you longer than I thought to find me," he said simply. Toddy felt his heart sink. "Why, Ran?" You're helping the Council. They cut us off from Earth, from our families. Rand shook his head. It's not what you think, Ta. I'm not working for the Council. At least, not all of it. Un kept her weapon pointed at him. Explain. Quickly. The Council isn't one thing, Rand said. It's 7 different species with 7 different agendas. 3 of them voted against isolating Earth. You're working with aliens. Ta couldn't believe what he was hearing. I'm working with allies, Rand corrected. There's a group within the Council that opposes how they treat lesser species. They want to help us. Un scoffed. So you're a traitor with good intentions. You still put this ship and the entire fleet at risk. Captain Day arrived with 2 security officers. After hearing Rand's explanation, he made a decision. We take him to Admiral Vaughn. Let him decide what to do with this information. Soon, Ta, Rand, Captain Da, and Un were on a shuttle heading to the Resilience. The small ship moved silently through the darkness between the larger vessels. If what you're saying is true, Ta said to Rand, why didn't you tell us? Why the secrecy? Would you have believed me? Rand asked. Would anyone have trusted an alien message saying, some of us want to help? Before Ta could answer, the shuttle rocked violently. Warning lights flashed red. We're under attack, the pilot shouted. Unknown vessel, coming in fast. Captain Day rushed to the cockpit. Where did it come from? How did it find us? Another hit shook the shuttle. Systems began to fail. We're losing power, the pilot reported. Engines damage. Escape pods, Captain Day ordered. Everyone out. Now. In the chaos, Tai and Rand were pushed into one pod while Captain Dai and Yun headed for another. The pod ejected with a violent jolt, spinning away from the damaged shuttle. When the spinning stopped, Ta looked out the small window. The shuttle was gone. The other escape pod was nowhere in sight. And the fleet? It had already begun emergency protocols, ships scattering in all directions to avoid being found together. They're gone, Ta said. We're alone. Rand checked the pod's systems. Life support stable, but no engines. We have maybe 6 hours of air. Ta stared at his old friend, anger mixing with fear. Was this your plan? To trap us out here? No, Rand said firmly. I don't know who attacked us. It wasn't my allies. Your allies, Tay repeated bitterly. Aliens who supposedly want to help us. They do exist, Rand insisted. The Council is fracturing from within. 3 species, the Moro, the Valen, and the Sulk, they all voted against Earth's isolation. They see humans as potential allies, not threats. Ta laughed without humor. And the other 4 species? They fear us, Rand said simply. They fear what humans might become if left unchecked. As oxygen slowly depleted in the small pod, the 2 friends sat in silence. Outside, the vast emptiness of space surrounded them. The fleet was gone, scattered to protect the secret of humanity's resistance. I never wanted to betray anyone, Rand said quietly. I just thought we needed all the help we could get. Ta looked at the oxygen meter counting down. In 4 hours, it wouldn't matter who was right. Unless someone found them soon, their part in humanity's silent walk would end here, lost in the cold between the stars. 3 hours passed in the escape pod. The air was getting thinner. Tai and Rand had stopped talking to conserve oxygen. Both men sat in silence, watching the oxygen meter count down their remaining time. Suddenly, a shadow fell across the pod's small window. Ta looked up to see a ship unlike any he had ever seen before. It wasn't human design, but it didn't match any Council vessels either. What is that? He whispered. The strange ship moved closer. A beam of light scanned their pod. Then a mechanical arm extended and locked onto them. We're being pulled in, Rand said, a small smile forming on his face. They found us. Who found us? Tai asked, suddenly suspicious. Your alien friends? Before Rand could answer, the pod was drawn into the larger vessel's docking bay. With a hiss, The pod door opened. Ta braced himself, not knowing what to expect. A human woman stood there, dressed in an unfamiliar uniform. "Hurry," she said. "We need to move quickly. Council patrols are sweeping this sector." Ta hesitated, but Rand stepped out immediately. With no other options, Ta followed. The docking bay was filled with unusual technology, clearly not of human design. "Welcome to the Horizon," the woman said. "I'm Jun, chief diplomat of the Silent Resistance." "Silent Resistance," Tay repeated. Jun led them through corridors where humans worked alongside aliens Ta had never seen before. Some had blue skin, others had 4 arms or eyes that glowed in the dim light. "The Council isn't just hostile to humans," Jun explained. "They've been restricting the growth of many species for centuries. We're all the ones they deemed too unpredictable or not ready for full galactic citizenship." They entered a command room where a map showed Council space. Red dots marked Council strongholds, while blue dots showed resistance outposts. 15 different species make up our alliance, Jun continued. "We've been watching Earth since the isolation began. Ran has been our contact." Tay turned to his friend. "So you were telling the truth?" Ran nodded. "I wanted to tell you, but secrecy was necessary. Even one mistake could expose everything." A tall blue-skinned alien approached them. "The human vessels have scattered," it said in perfect English. "We were only able to track 3 of them, Captain Dai and Ian." Tai asked quickly, "Did you find their escape pod?" Jun nodded. "They're safe. We picked them up first. They're in the medical bay now." Relief washed over Ta. Then another thought struck him. "The attack on our shuttle. Was that you?" "No," Jun said firmly. "That was a Council patrol. We believe someone is feeding them information about human movements." "Someone other than Ran?" Tai asked, confused. "I only communicated with the Resistance," Ran explained. "Someone else is working for the Council directly." Tai tried to process everything. "So there's another spy." Jun nodded grimly. "Among Admiral Wan's fleet, and they're much more dangerous than Ran." Later, Ta stood with Captain Dai and Ian on the observation deck of the Horizon. Through the large window, they could see stars streaking by as the ship moved at high speed. "So what do we do now?" Ian asked, still wary of their strange allies. "Jun says they can help us find the real spy," Captain Dai said. "And they have technology that could help break the blockade around Earth." "Can we trust them?" Ta wondered aloud. "Do we have a choice?" Captain Day replied. "Humanity can't fight the Council alone. We need allies." Tai thought about the diverse crew of the Horizon, 15 different species working together despite their differences, all walking silently through Council space, refusing to be contained. "We need to warn Admiral Wan about the spy," Yun said. "If we can find the fleet again." Captain Dai nodded. "The question is, will he trust aliens after centuries of human isolation? Or will he see all non-humans as enemies?" As the Horizon raced through space, Tai realized that humanity's path forward had just become much more complicated. The Silent Walk now had new companions and new dangers. The Horizon tracked one of the human ships from Admiral Huan's fleet. After 2 days of careful following, they finally caught up to it. The Resilience itself, the Admiral's flagship. "They've spotted us," Jun announced on the bridge. "They're charging weapons." Captain Dai stepped forward. "Let me talk to them. They know me." Tai set up the communication system. On the screen, Admiral Wan's face appeared, his expression hard and suspicious. "Captain Dai," the Admiral said coldly. "We thought you were lost. Now you appear on an alien vessel. Explain yourself." "Admiral, we were attacked after leaving the Pathfinder," Captain Dai explained. "These people rescued us. They're not Council forces. They're part of a resistance movement." The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "A convenient story. How do I know you haven't been captured and forced to say this?" "Sir, we have critical information," Todd cut in. There's a spy on one of your ships, feeding information directly to the Council. For a moment, the Admiral was silent. Then, approached slowly. No sudden movements. We'll send a shuttle to bring you aboard, just the humans. Jun nodded her agreement. Go. We'll wait here. Soon, Ta, Captain Dai, Eun, and Rand stood in the Resilience's meeting room. Admiral Huan and his senior officers listened as they explained everything about the silent resistance. 15 species. One officer asked, clearly doubtful. All working together against the Council. All treated like humanity, Rand explained. Restricted, controlled, told they weren't ready for true independence. Admiral Huan paced the room. Even if what you say is true, we can't risk working with aliens. Ghost Protocol has kept us safe so far. With respect, sir, Ta said, it hasn't. Someone in this fleet is reporting to the Council. That's how our shuttle was attacked. The meeting was interrupted by an urgent call. Admiral, multiple Council warships have appeared on long-range sensors. They're heading directly for us. Everyone rushed to the bridge. On the main screen, they saw 7 large Council ships approaching fast. How did they find us? The Admiral demanded. The spy, Yun said simply. Admiral Huan made a quick decision. Battle stations. Prepare to scatter the fleet. Wait, Captain Daz said. That's what they expect. What if we do something they don't expect? What if we stand with the horizon? Stand with aliens against Council warships? The Admiral looked shocked. That's suicide. Running is what they want, Tai added. They want us scattered and afraid. What if we stop running? Before the Admiral could answer, another officer called out, Sir. The alien ship, the Horizon. It's moving between us and the Council fleet. On the screen, they watched as the Horizon positioned itself directly in the path of the approaching Council vessels. Jun's face appeared on the communication screen. We will stand with you if you will stand with us. This is the moment to show the Council that they cannot keep us silent forever. Admiral Huan looked torn. Decades of suspicion fought against the reality before him. Sir, Ta said quietly, remember Jeju. Sometimes resistance isn't about fighting. It's about standing your ground. The Admiral took a deep breath. Open a channel to all ships in our fleet. When the channel was ready, Admiral Huan spoke clearly. This is Admiral Huan. For months, we have moved silently through the darkness, avoiding confrontation. Today that changes. We stand with the Horizon and the silent resistance. Humanity will not walk alone anymore. The human ships, instead of scattering, began to move into formation alongside the Horizon. Council vessels slowed their approach, clearly surprised by this unexpected unity. Ta moved to the communications station. Let me send a message to the Council ships. What message? The Admiral asked. The truth, Ta said simply. Sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a bomb. It's breaking the silence. As the two fleets faced each other across the emptiness of space, humanity prepared to speak again after months of forced silence. The message was simple. We are not alone, and we will not be silenced. Ta's message went out to all the Council ships. He sent the truth about Earth's isolation, about the silent resistance, about the 15 species who had been kept under Council control for too long. The largest Council ship moved forward. On the Resilience's main screen, a face appeared. It wasn't human, with pale gray skin and large black eyes. This is Supreme Counselor Yu of the Galactic Council, it said in perfect English. Your message is unexpected. Admiral Huan stepped forward. So is your attack on peaceful vessels. We did not come to attack, Yu replied. We came to investigate unusual gatherings in this sector. Your ships fled at our approach, which raised suspicion. We fled because the Council has already cut Earth off from the rest of humanity, Captain Daz said sharply. Yu's large eyes blinked slowly. There seems to be confusion. I request permission to board your vessel to discuss these matters directly. The bridge crew looked to Admiral Huan. Everyone knew this could be a trap. Very well, the Admiral finally said. You may bring 2 representatives. No weapons. An hour later, Supreme Counselor Yu and 2 other aliens sat in the Resilience's meeting room with Admiral Wan, Captain Da, Tai, and Jun from the Horizon. Let me be clear, Yu began. The full council did not vote to isolate Earth completely. 3 species voted against it. 3 voted for limited restrictions only. Only 1 species, the Orcs, pushed for complete isolation. But Earth is under blockade, Admiral Wan said. All communications cut off. Yu looked troubled. The Orcs acted without full council approval. They told us that humans had requested isolation to develop independently, that this was your preference. The room fell silent as everyone processed this information. You were lied to, Jun said simply, just as all our species have been lied to. The Orcs have long controlled Council's security forces, Yu admitted. They have used this position to shake policy. And now, Captain Day asked, now that you know the truth, now we talk, Yu said, truly talk, for the first time. As discussions continued, Ta found himself on the observation deck, looking out at the mix of human and alien ships floating peacefully together. Ran joined him. It's strange, Ta said. All these months of silence, of hiding, of walking quietly through the darkness. And in the end, it was speaking up that made the difference. Not just speaking, Rand corrected. Being heard, that was what was missing. Admiral Wan appeared behind them. The Council is splitting over this. The Orcs are demanding we surrender our ships. The others want to negotiate. What will we do? Tai asked. Some want to fight, the Admiral admitted. Show the Council our full strength. We have hundreds of ships they don't know about. And you, sir? Ran asked. I'm not sure, the Admiral said honestly. Fighting might feel good after months of hiding, but it would prove the Orcs right about humans being dangerous, Tai finished. They watched as a shuttle departed from the horizon, carrying Jun to the Council flagship for further talks. Jun thinks we should reveal everything, Rand said. All our ships, all our colonies. Show them we survived despite their efforts, but that we still choose peace. A show of strength and restraint at the same time, the Admiral mused. Tai thought about Jeju Island and its long history. My grandmother used to say that true strength isn't in how hard you can hit, but in how much you can endure while still remaining yourself. Admiral Wan nodded slowly. Humanity has endured the silence. We've kept walking forward. Maybe now it's time to do something even harder. Extend a hand. The decision was made. A signal went out from the Resilience to all hidden human ships across the galaxy. Reveal yourselves, not as a threat, but as a presence that could no longer be ignored. As reports came in of human vessels appearing near Council worlds, rising from hidden bases and emerging from dark space, Todd watched the faces of the Council representatives. Their shock was clear. Humanity hadn't been contained. They had simply learned to walk without making a sound. 1 year later, Tai stood on the observation deck of a brand new space station. It was named Harmony, built at the edge of what used to be Council space. Now ships from all species freely passed through its docking bays. Quite a view, isn't it? Captain Da, now Ambassador Da, said as he joined Tai at the window. I still can't believe how much has changed, Tai replied, watching a Orc ship peacefully dock alongside a human vessel. The past year had been filled with rapid changes. After humanity revealed their hidden fleet and colonies, the Council couldn't ignore them anymore. The Orcs had tried to push for military action, but they were outvoted. Too many Council species had seen the truth in the messages Tai had sent. The new charter will be signed today, Ambassador Da said. Representatives from 23 species, including all former Council members and silent resistance allies. And Earth? Tai asked. It was the question that had been on his mind for months. The ambassador smiled. The blockade was fully lifted last week. Communications are restored. There's a message waiting for you, actually. Tay's heart jumped. He rushed to the communications room, where a recorded message from Earth waited. With shaking hands, he pressed play. His mother's face appeared on the screen, smiling through tears. "Ta, my son, we're so proud of you. We knew about Ghost Protocol all along, but couldn't tell you before you left. Your father sends his love. And guess what? Your sister Min has joined the crew of the Explorer. She's heading to the edge of the galaxy. Just like you, she couldn't stay still." Ta wiped away tears as the message ended. His family was safe. Earth was free. And humanity was no longer alone in the stars. Later that day, he attended the charter signing ceremony with Jun, Ran, and Ian. Admiral Wan represented Earth, while Supreme Counselor Yu represented the Reformed Council. This charter recognizes the right of all sentient species to develop without interference. Admiral Wan read aloud, "No species shall impose silence upon another. All voices deserve to be heard in the great symphony of the stars." As the representatives signed one by one, Ta noticed a small group of Orcs in the corner, watching with clear disapproval. Not everyone was happy with the new arrangement, but they were no longer in control. After the ceremony, Ta found himself alone with Jun on a quiet part of the station. "What happens now?" he asked her. "Now we keep walking," she replied with a smile. "But not in silence anymore, and not alone." A sudden alarm interrupted their conversation. Everyone rushed to the command center, fearing the worst. "What's happening?" Ambassador Day demanded as they arrived. The station commander looked up, her face showing not fear but excitement. "We're receiving a transmission from deep space, beyond the edges of our maps. It's a new species, sir. They're making first contact." The room fell silent. Then, slowly, a smile spread across Ambassador Day's face. "Well," he said, "let's welcome them properly." As the station prepared to greet this unknown new voice in the galaxy, Tai thought about how far they had come. From Earth's forced silence to this moment of new beginnings. The stars no longer seemed cold and distant. They were full of life, full of voices waiting to join the conversation. Humanity had walked through the darkness when peace fell silent, but they had emerged into a brighter galaxy than they could have imagined. Ta looked at the faces around him, human and alien together, ready to greet new friends from the depths of space. The silence had been broken, and in its place, a symphony of voices rose among the stars, with humanity's song now just one part of a greater harmony. As Captain Dai had said on that fateful day when Earth went dark, they kept moving forward, and they would never stop walking toward the future, wherever it might lead.